United States Representative Dr. John Fleming. Welcome home. Great to see you as always.
It's great to be home, Robert and Aaron.
We just got off the phone with State Representative Mike Johnson, and we were talking about what he called at the Supreme Court, was it on Friday, a rare moment of candor by the U.S. Solicitor General, I think, is it Verrilli, something like that.
Right.
And he was talking about the Supreme Court is hearing arguments, what I called the gay marriage equivalent of Roe versus Wade.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Mike said, I'm not off the mark, that would literally nationalize, it would mandate the legality of gay marriage for all 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
And in his arguments, the Obama administration lawyer said, when questioned by Judge Alito about, well, wouldn't that conflict with a lot of people's religious beliefs?
Right.
He said, yeah, well, that might be a problem, but, and I'm paraphrasing now, too bad.
Right.
That's got to be making you a little nutty, just like it is Representative Mike.
Yeah, I mean, the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States has become a little bit inconvenient to the argument of the left. Remember that where we have gone in many cases to allow same-sex marriage has been through the courts, just like Roe v. Wade, not through the plebiscite, the public actually voting. And in many states, just like Louisiana, it's part of their constitution that the definition of marriage is one woman, one man.
Well, Mike had made the point that state by state, including Louisiana, what was it, in 2004? That it was a 70-30, give or take a few, vote.
Right.
To limit the definition of marriage.
Right. But you know, as a physician, I take sort of a scientific perspective of all of this, beyond just laws and constitution. And we're really looking at the outcomes. And what we're finding is that the ideal family unit is one where there's a mom and a dad. If you look at the economic outcomes, education, all those things, that's where you get the best results. Now, not every family can have that. You get divorce, you get death sometimes, but it should always be an ideal. And now we're having children raised in same-sex marriage homes who are saying, you know what, I something was left out of my life. I wish I'd had a dad. I wish I'd had a mom.
Well,
so we're actually seeing people, and even people from the gay community, saying, you know what, traditional marriage is still the best idea.
My line has always been regarding the not so theoretical baker or florist or fill in the blank.
Right.
And I just said it to Dr. John a couple of minutes ago. Should a person of faith be mandated by the government to take part in a ceremony or ritual that conflicts with their religious beliefs? Right. And a lot of people think so. Yeah. What?
I just don't want to make people mad. And this issue really fires people up. It just seems today, in today's political climate, that if you say anything that is anti-gay, or you seem to be saying, like you did, marriage is between a man and a woman, you get put under fire. It's like the political momentum is like, no, you got to support this now.
Let
you have
me
to.
interject
It's time.
Before Dr. John answers, is there a difference? And I think there is a huge difference between what you say is anti-gay and being anti-gay marriage. I'm not necessarily anti-gay civil union or to some degree marriage, but, and I go back to my initial statement, should the government force someone to violate their own religious tenets?
And I'm with you on that, but you're going to, when he says what he did, and I want you to answer this, he knows he's going to hear the backlash.
He's going to hear that he's a hater.
You're a hater. I mean, the momentum is building, and you're now a hater, and you join our room, I guess.
Well, look, when it comes to two consenting adults and what they do in their own time and privacy behind closed doors, as far as I'm concerned, I have nothing to say about it as a person or as a U.S. congressman. That is simply up to them. What does involve me is public policy and the impact of culture on that. And as you know, we have a growing entitlement state that now takes up 2/3 of our budget. So whether you're talking about drug addiction or children raised in one-parent homes or no-parent homes, we all have a vested interest. So that's reason why I do believe that if you look at it from a scientific and a statistical standpoint, the marriage unit, a mom and a dad, gives us the best results when it comes to economic and cultural outcomes. That not even the left really disputes that.
Let's go to Garland, Texas for a minute.
May I read the headline?
Yeah, go ahead.
Note to jihadists: in America, we shoot back.
Right.
Now, we've been talking a little bit this morning and certainly a great deal yesterday about the events of the weekend in Texas, where the two Muslim guys claiming themselves to be jihadists,
Yes.
tried to, well, you go ahead.
To shoot up that cartoon convention, that was a free speech. And now the ISIS is claiming responsibility.
Yes.
Is that hogwash? Is that real?
Oh no! If they claim responsibility, I think that that's very real, and I think that they've crossed a threshold now. Remember their whole approach, and Al Qaeda as well, their brothers in arms, is that in a faraway place like this, where we are today in America, across the sea from the Middle East, that what you do is you use the social media to communicate with and bring people into your cause, and then let them go out as lone wolves, which is what this situation is. And we've seen this before. Nadal Hussein, at Fort Hood was the same sort of situation. But what it also tells you is that we're squarely in their sights. And we get reports that there are ISIS camps across the border, across our southern border. I've not been able to confirm that. But it's very clear that ISIS wants to attack America, and they will do so in their own good time.
And it's another example of how what I have called a million times the evisceration of the southern border. There's collateral, other than the obvious damage, the collateral damage of it's an open door for people who wish to do us harm.
No question about it. And, we used to get these odd reports before 9/11. Remember that we would hear on the news that there were guys taking flying lessons, but they didn't care about learning how to land. And we thought that was really odd. Well, come to find out, these were the guys who were crashing into the World Trade Center. So these things really mean something. We really have to have our ear to the ground.
Got another doctor in the running for president, Dr. Ben.
Yes.
Were you shocked to hear his announcement?
Oh, no. I've been expecting it for months. I've met Dr. Carson several times, spoken with him. As you know, he's a retired neurosurgeon, excellent physician, strong conservative, African-American, and I think he has a powerful message.
Mike Huckabee, Arkansas.
Mike Huckabee is not as fresh of a face as some of the others. He's a strong social conservative, not so conservative on fiscal matters.
I'm kind of intrigued by Carly Fiorina. Any thoughts?
Yes, she's the only female, of course, that's on the Republican side, and she has a strong business background, and heavens knows we need good business management in this nation.
Hewlett Packard, right? Am I
Yes,
right?
that is correct.
Okay.
She was CEO.
Bobby Jindal, you expecting?
Bobby Jindal is somewhere in the mix, but I do think that the lagging economy back home and the budgetary problems are unfortunately an issue for Bobby.
Can you jump in and help my blood pressure while you're here?
Try and get it back up there. Think of it as a house call. Remember the 50s?
Yeah, right.
We're not only celebrating Cinco de Mayo today, we're celebrating Cinco de Oreo. Because a mom in Colorado sent Oreos to lunch with her 4-year-old.
Right.
They were sent home with a note from the teacher that said, "Don't send these to school. This is not a healthy snack."
Right.
It just seems like we are so overreaching now in every facet of our lives.
Oh, we have complete micromanagement out of Washington. Remember that the authority to go to this Michelle Obama lunch program came from Obamacare. It's another fallout, an unfortunate consequence of Obamacare. And the waste that these school systems are seeing because they're throwing this food out because kids are not eating it. And so what do you think is happening? If they don't eat their lunch, they're eating snacks. They're going to junk food directly. Again, it's just another set of unintended consequences from the magical intelligence of Washington.
I had said a couple of times it's another step in the in the nanny state mentality.
Right.
And when you get the complete nanny state, then you end up with Detroit
Right.
or Baltimore or Los
Exactly.
Angeles or New York City with de
Exactly.
Blasio, where people we're
Right.
just not smart enough to take care of ourselves.
Exactly. Well, again, all we have to do is look at seatbelts and the success of the smoking reduction that's happened, tobacco use around the country. It comes from education, educating the public to know what's good for them and what's not from Washington elites who are academics who dictate to you how you live your life.
Unbelievable. I know. You know better than we do.
And
Government
besides,
knows.
there's nothing wrong with Oreos. I eat them all of the time.
I love Oreos. I'm going to have plenty of them today. It's Cinco de Oreo, and I'm sinking them in my margarita for Cinco de Mayo.
You're one hell of a woman. There's no doubt about that.
Congressman John Fleming, thank you so much
Great.
for coming in.
Thank you,
We
Robert and
appreciate it.
Aaron.